Hello, friends, and welcome back. Today, I want to share a bit of a story with you. Something that might seem really small, but that I hope will encourage you and bless you. So, it's story time. Today, I want to share with you the story behind this photograph. Now, it seems a bit random, I know, but this photo was taken a few years ago now at a ladies' event where I had the honor and privilege to paint live during worship. It was the women's event at my local church, and at the end of the sessions, we were gonna give away this painting. So I was really just trusting the Lord for a specific word for someone, and it was a really cool exercise. On top of me painting, we also set up some creative stations all around the church so that other people and the attendees and everybody could also participate in the act of art making, which really is my heart, right? If you've been around here at all, you know that the message is that this is not an exclusive club just for one or two people. This is for everybody. And so I love that we could make it this community event where everybody got to participate. It was such a fun morning and such a great opportunity. I had such a good time. But in the same breath, it was also really nerve-wracking. I love talking about prophetic arts. I love practicing it in my own inner room. But it's not something that I do every Sunday in church. In fact, there are very little churches in my community who do embrace this form of creative expression, like you would find in your bigger churches where there's like designated stage space and all that stuff. Like my church is growing and the building is really small, just practically. There's just not always space for stuff like that. So when I do have an opportunity, it's such a great honor, but it's also really nerve-wracking. I don't always create in front of people, and it's a very vulnerable thing to do. So as much as it was really exciting, it was really nerve-wracking. And I mean, gosh, it was one of those things where really exciting, really cool, really scared all at the same time, and those two kind of come together, and there you go. I even got to share a little bit on my heart of creativity and how it is for everybody. It was really awesome. So circling back to the photo. As I was painting that morning, wondering, oh my gosh, does this even matter? Is this important? And it's one of those things like, you know, all the answers in your head, but yet there's still this feeling where you kind of doubt yourself and you're like, oh, Jesus, like I'm just doing this in faith. Like I have no idea if this is impacting anyone or if this matters or if anyone cares, honestly. Like just all those things that we wrestle with in these moments. And so here I am, like painting, having these thoughts. And then this beautiful lady just walked up to me. I'd barely gotten started. And she just tapped me on the shoulder and with tears in her eyes, she just asked me, hey, like, is it okay if I have a closer look at what you're doing? And of course, I welcomed her. I'm like, yeah, no, sure, by all means. And she just stood there. And I just got a sense that, like, okay, the Lord is doing something here. Something is happening. I'm not really sure what, but something is happening. And she just stood there and she kind of looked at me with these tears in her eyes. And she just said, like, wow, I just want to honor you and honor you guys as a church for this, for embracing creativity, for embracing the arts and crafts. And it was such a it was such a moment where I kind of looked at this lady and I was like, this is really moving you. This is pretty amazing. I mean, you need to see it now. Like it wasn't just me creating. There was a little table next to me, and there were 3 or 4 people painting and crafting there. Right at the back of the church, there were like 3 or 4 tables we set up there for people to paint and draw and create. Like this really did fill the atmosphere. And here comes a woman just saying, hey, this is really impacting me. And so I ended up praying with her and carried on with my painting. But throughout the day, that moment just lingered in the back of my mind. It felt so small and potentially insignificant, and yet I couldn't let go of this moment. I couldn't let go of this interaction. So after the event, when I actually had a moment to process all that had happened and all the Lord had done, I couldn't help but circle back to this little interaction with this lovely lady. She was so encouraged that we as a church embraced the arts and embraced creativity that it blessed her to the point where she felt moved enough to come to the front from her seat and come and engage with me and come and let me know as much. And that told me this must have really impacted her. And as I was thinking about this moment and thinking about this exchange, I just really felt the Lord remind me of that simple little truth that I think we all know. People are watching, whether we are on a stage or whether you're in your workplace or you're just living your life every day. People are watching. Our obedience to the Lord, our yes, the things that we do in response to Him are being seen by people. And yes, it's not always hundreds of people in a room. Sometimes it's just your spouse that will see. Sometimes it's your mom and dad or your immediate community or your inner circle. It's not hundreds of people, it's 3. But people still see. And it matters. And it impacts them. Everything matters. And so the reason I really wanted to share this story was because I get so many comments and DMs and messages from people who did art and stopped, or who want to try, but they're just not really sure if it matters. They're not really sure if they're able to. And so I wanted to share this story to encourage you and to let you know that it matters. The random, seemingly insignificant moments matter. Your yes, your boldness to go where God calls you can impact nations. And it can also impact one. And let me tell you from personal experience, you might think that you want the global impact, you want the nations, you want the whole room, until one person comes and tells you that they're impacted. And then you realize, for the one, it's worth it. For the one, God, you get the glory and you get the honor. For the one, it was significant and it mattered. Now in this room, it was filled with hundreds of women. One lady came forward. Were other people impacted? Maybe. I don't know. But I do know that one was. And for that one, I am so glad that I pushed through my own insecurity and my own overthinking and my own fear for the sake of that lady. For the sake of her being blessed and receiving something that I don't even know exactly what she received. But between her and Jesus, I'm pretty sure they know. So don't stop painting. Don't stop creating. Maybe you're the only one in your community that's doing it. Maybe nobody else gets it. Keep going anyway. People are watching. You are blessing someone. And even if you don't know who that person is yet, even if no one gets to see what you're doing yet, know that you are already blessing someone, because your obedience now will eventually filter over and impact other people. I was drawing and communing with the Lord in my creative capacity long before I ever switched the camera on, long before I ever stood on a stage, long before I ever even posted a picture online. There's a saying that says that we can't take people places we haven't been yet. There's a place where we do remain hidden, but whatever you're doing now has the potential to impact so many people. And where you find yourself now is important in the process for you to get there. Don't stop being faithful with what God has given you, with what He's asking you to steward. Don't stop saying yes. Don't stop because you think it's unimportant or maybe it doesn't matter. It does, and you do. And if no one else has come up to you and told you that what you're doing is impactful and that it's making a difference, allow me to be the first. God is the one that does the work. Yes, and amen to that. And He most certainly gets all the glory. But we are His co-workers. We get to partner with the Lord in whatever it is that He wants to do. So friend, please don't stop. Don't be discouraged. You never know who is being impacted by your yeses to Jesus